Are we on?
I think so.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We're sorry if... Oh, I think we're ready to go.
Make sure.
Okay.
Oops.
What?
Let's see the map again. There we go.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Send us a message if you're out there. We're kind of Shabbat Shalom. Okay. Thank you. We had a little trouble logging on tonight. Our other computer didn't work. So, but we'll begin our Shabbat service by lighting some candles. It's the new moon of ER, which also means that it's Ramadan. Ramadan started today. I had lots of messages from Muslim sisters and brothers around the world. Actually, a good friend who we had iftar with last year in her village called Tira, which is within Israel. And was second time we had iftar with her, with Dalia Fadila and her family. And it's always a very holy time. So it's a holy time for us too. I'm not sure. I think it was such a clear day, but I think it's going to be a little foggy night, so we might not be able to see the new moon. But we know it's there. We know she's there. So I invite you to join me as we light the candles. And welcome Shabbat. Join me as we take a little light. You can all use a little, oops, make sure we can see both candles. There we go. So we can feel the kind of the glow of the candles and the light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Maybe we'll end with we have Linda Cohn just brought us a beautiful challah, and maybe we'll end with Kiddush and challah. But actually, why don't you sing us in to Shabbat? Maybe with Lecha Dodi.
Where you go?
I'm bringing the prayer book.
Oh. Hand me that way.
There we go.
I think so.
Or Shalom. Always good to welcome angels. Can never have too many angels.
Shemunu Malechem Malachi Asari Malachi Elyon Malachi Harachamim Mi Melech Malachi HaMelachim Kadosh Baruch Hu Boechem Leshalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon מלכי הרחמים, מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון, מלכי הרחמים, מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון, מלכי הרחמים, מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. יום זה לישראל, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. Want me to play a couple more songs?
I love the songs. You know, it's I don't know. I'm not sure how sheltering at home can keep us so busy, but it does. And you know, it's still important to take time to make a real Shabbat, whatever way is meaningful for you, to slow down so that we can take time to renew our souls. And part of that is to get this extra soul. Part of that is to recognize that no one is ever alone on Shabbat, even if you are living alone. No one is ever alone on Shabbat because we get this extra soul. And also we have Lachadudi, this wonderful hymn from the 16th century that says, that dares us to call to that soul, to those souls that we want to spend this sacred time with. So Lachadudi says, to you, my beloved, come. Join us, be with us in this time, this gift of time that we're given.
One time I was sitting with Francesca
outside of Assisi.
Outside of Assisi, the mountain behind Assisi in Spello. And we looked up toward the mountain, and Francesca says, you know,
It's
Sometimes I see him walking there with his animals. I said, who? She said, San Francesco, St. Francis. I see him there. She says, is that crazy? I said, no. And I told her about the Shabbos bride and how every Friday night we welcome her. And in the last verse, we stand and we welcome her. And she comes into the door. She's the bride. She's the queen. She's the Shekhinah, the inner presence. She says, just like San Francesco. I said, yeah. She says, do we imagine her? I said, yes. That's always the point.
Page 8.
Chadodi likra kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Chadodi likra kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Chadodi likra kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Chadodi likra kala, pnei Shabbat. שמור וזכור בדיבור לך, השמיע נוער מיוחד, אדוני אחד לשמו אחד, שם תפארת ולבחירה. אחד אותי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, ואחד אותי לקראת קהלה. פני שבת נקבלה, חדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, וחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת. בואי בשלום התבלה, גם בשמחה ובצופלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. חדותי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, חדותי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת. חדותי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Let's call each other to prayer with the words of the Baruch Hu. If you have a prayer book, they're on page 11, but we don't really need them.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamorah. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam
What was it that you said tonight? We were kvetching. We were kvetching about things, and Jim said something about, I'm complaining about this. It could be so much worse. And I said, the she-goat at the butcher is fatter than I. And I had to remind you, right, of the reference to a wonderful teaching in the Talmud that says that if you feel like your stars are off, because remember that there are a lot of astrological references. When we say Mazal Tov, we say, may your stars be good, right? It's a lot of astrology from the rabbis. And so they said, when you feel like your stars might be a little bit off, get yourself up and out of that place of schmutz that you're standing. Walk 3 cubits to the left and sing the Shema 3 times. And then say, the she-goat at the butcher is fatter than I. And, there's so many layers, of course, to every Talmudic teaching, but I think this one is kind of relevant now. First of all, it tells us that there are formulas, that there are prayers that help redirect us when we're feeling separate. Of course, the Shema is one of those unity prayers where God calls to us, listen, you God wrestlers, everything is really connected. No matter how distant you might feel, we are all connected. But then there's that part with the she-goat at the butcher. And I guess if you're the she-goat at the butcher, too bad. So it's reminding us that things can always be worse. They can. Sometimes things are hard, and I know there's a lot of people going through a lot of difficult things. But, if we take time and find something to be grateful for and find those places that we are connected, maybe things will look a little bit brighter. So I invite everyone to take a deep cleansing breath, breathe in all that is good and high and holy. And when you breathe out, let go of all of the things that are getting in the way of being a channel for goodliness and godliness, love and compassion, kindness, generosity, all of the things that we need right now to especially get through this challenging time. And so I give everyone a few moments to breathe, and then we'll sing the words of the Shema together. Sing the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Page 18. I was on a call with some ministers in the African American community this week, and they asked me to pray them out. We pray ourselves in, and then we pray ourselves out. And I don't really pray often the way that they do. So I usually end up telling a story, and I just was feeling the Michamocha at that moment. I was feeling like we were going through the sea, that we are somehow in this moment of going through the sea, and that wonderful Muriel Ruckhauser poem that says, and I will stay in the sea, I will stay right here, right there in the midst of the sea, risking my life, and sing until all the worlds will sing to each other. And I think this is a time that people from all over the world are singing to each other, singing our way through the wilderness, but but recognizing that we can't get through unless we get through this together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נוראתי לא תוסף אלה, מלכותך ובניך, בו קיים לפני משה, זלי זלי זלי, זלי זלי זלי, זלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לעולם ועד. ועד ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Then Miriam, הנביאה, the prophetess, she took a drum in her hand and we followed her with drums and dancing. And Miriam, the prophetess, she chanted with us. Shiru Adonai, ki ga'o ga'a. 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 Sus v'rochvo rama v'yam. Sus v'rochvo rama v'yam. Shiru Adonai, ki ga'o ga'a. Shiru Adonai, ki ga'o ga'a. Throw Salim Sukkot Shalomecha, spread over us the shelter of your peace. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei Sukkot Shalom aleinu, b'kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim, and over Jerusalem. And over Jerusalem. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ והיום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, Shabbat v'yinafash. Children of Israel should keep the Shabbos, observing it in every generation as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days the Eternal One made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day God rested and was refreshed. God breathed the soul into creation. Vayinafash. God breathed the soul into creation. Vayinafash. God breathed the soul into creation. Vayinafash.
Yikadal ve'yikadash shemei Rabba ve'alma divrach yirutei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chayecha u'v'yomecha u'chayedecha be'Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam yomei omaya Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudasha, Barichu, Le'ela, Minko, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiran, Ve'alma, Ve'imru, Amen.
So you better get careful. Just have to
Okay.
Be aware of that.
What the
percent?
What percent?
I don't have it plugged in.
We better plug it in. Okay. So we come to the tefillah, and maybe you want to sing us into the tefillah. Let's begin the tefillah together, and then just kind of let our hearts and minds kind of wander. The tefillah on Shabbat doesn't have petition prayers. It just has praise and thanksgiving. What is there to praise as we become sanctuaries, vessels of prayer? You know, one of the things about this being home and being so accessible is there's a lot of students out there who are having to write papers. And I keep getting messages from students at Jefferson Community College. I'm not sure I know what Jefferson Community College is, but I got about 5 requests from students there to ask me questions about what it means to be Jewish. And they all ask different questions, but one of the ones that is kind of consistent, I assume none of them are Jewish, is, well, I know they're not, is, do you pray? And how do you pray? And why do you pray? So I've been thinking about that a lot as I've been writing back to them. I do pray.
Prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Adonai, Sifata Tifta, Uvi Yagi, Iladecha,
Say Shalom. Prayer for peace.
Okay.
Prayer for peace. Shalom. Say Shalom. Say Shalom.
Okay. Ose shalom b'rama, uyase shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom b'roma, uyase shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ve'imeru amen.
Before we bless the new moon and conclude the service, I have just a little bit of a teaching on this portion, the Torah portion this week. It's a double portion, Tazria and Metzora, these portions in the book of Leviticus that actually Jim is kind of an expert on. But, they're portions that are particularly relevant right now. They're about illness, about leprosy, about separation, about what is pure and what is impure. And when we were at, I actually heard a rabbi once, because these are such difficult portions. They're about menstrual blood and, boils, baldness. They're gross. And so I heard a rabbi once give a talk, actually at HUC, the seminary that we went to. And the rabbi said, if your kids, if your bar mitzvah kids get these portions, let them skip them. And I went, sorry. That was your friend Stanley. No, it was you. Sorry. Doing the dogs and the telephones. But I'll get through this. It's a short teaching. So I just wanted to say, you can't skip these portions. To skip them would be missing the whole point of Torah, because we do not have godlike heroes in the Torah. Our heroes are flawed and very human. Why? Maybe so that they can hold up a mirror to our own flawed selves, maybe to dare us to do better from learning from their mistakes, maybe to give us a chance to dive into the messy places, maybe even into the evil, so that we're ready for it when it's time for us to face it. So the story of Torah, as messy as it can be, is to give us lessons that we might not dare to struggle with if we were not pushed to do so. And it's just so amazing to me that we have these portions as we are struggling with these portions around illness when we are sheltering in place and dealing with this pandemic. So in the very first few verses of Tazria, the first portion, we encounter the experience of a woman immediately after childbirth. Something as ordinary an occurrence as breathing is childbirth, and yet there is nothing more miraculous, nothing more primal and ancient, and nothing more profound and new each time it happens. Nothing more completely gratifying, and also nothing more terrifying than birth. On the surface, we read about the separation that occurs just after birth in the portion, when a woman must leave the camp, when she is, after giving birth, impure, it's said. A week for a male child, 2 weeks for a female child, 30 days for a male child, and 60 for a female child. This is a time that a woman must leave the community. That's another story, why there's different times, less for men, more for the female. This is a time that a woman must leave the community for her impurity. And at first it seems cruel. At the time she would most need community, her experience separates her, and she must leave the camp. But this example of the woman just after birthing may be teaching us about the times that we are between the worlds, between worlds of nothing and everything, of the time between, when everything is self, and the next moment when we experience the ultimate other, when we are less self and more God. And how this experience teaches us something about the distinctions between what is tahor, pure, and tameh, impure. The worlds of purity and impurity, when the death of who we were needs to be let go of so we can become something new, birth something new. With all of these experiences, we become more aware of this in-between. In this case, when the woman is between the worlds, this in-between time is the moment of separation when she integrates into her being, the new world that she is about to enter, the new person that she is to become, shaped by this new experience in her life, by these new relationships that are about to explode and blow her mind. It becomes a time of integration when she allows the life-changing experience of birthing to transform her. The separation, the leaving the camp, may be giving her and giving us the space in our lives to bring that transformation into our own new lives. You see, the woman leaves the camp to give her time to reorient herself to her new reality. She leaves the camp to let go of who she was and maybe embrace who she is becoming. Think of all the times that it might have been helpful to leave the camp. Times when you had a big change in your life cycles, work cycles, relationship cycles, aging cycles. What if the portion is telling us to take time to digest the change, like we used to have to digest our food before jumping back into the swimming pool, right? What if it is a teaching? It's teaching us that tameh, the impurity, comes from acknowledging a kind of death from the old so that we can embrace the new with an openness that is not dragged down or clouded by a longing for or an attachment to the old. For those of you who are in your year of saying Kaddish for someone who defined your life, I pray that this time of saying Kaddish for you is a way of leaving the camp, readying yourselves to embrace the next chapters of your lives, transformed by the relationships and finding ways to carry them with you into the next chapters of your lives in holy and healthy ways. For those of you leaving careers, leaving the camp may be what is needed to enter the next chapters of your lives. And I pray that leaving the camp gives you just what you need to birth a new chapter in your lives as well. Oops, this is the wrong, I printed out the wrong version. So I'm kind of marveling at the way that my 94-year-old father is adjusting to this separation, this kind of time where we're all kind of leaving the camp. I remember a time when it wasn't so easy for him, when everything around him was all of his familiar people, all of his familiar life was gone. And he had to find a way to mourn that before he could embrace kind of a new life. And he kind of separated himself for a while. He left the camp and he made himself a little separate and gave himself a chance to be sad. So that when he came back, it was with a vision of a new way to be. And I think that, Judaism also gives us a chance to sometimes leave the camp when we have to reinvent ourselves. And it gives us this time, this in-between time. And I wonder if that's not what this time is all about, can be about as well, as we in our ways have left the camp and are separating ourselves. Will it give us time to vision something new? Because we do have to mourn what was. What was will never be the same again. It will be different. And I think many of us are saying that that's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, when we go back, it'll be different.
It will be different.
It'll be different.
It will be different.
And we can make it good different.
Yeah.
Because you know what? We had plenty to do. We had plenty to fix. And this gives us time to look at that.
And the key is the reintegration. How we reintegrate into communal life. And we're kind of doing that now in some ways. Making the time outside the camp not a time of alienation, not a time of shame or rejection, but a time of recognizing it as a time of reintegration, a time of letting go of old attachment that stopped serving us, old ways that today would keep us stuck, and truly giving ourselves a chance to birth something new and pure, ready to embrace the reality of our lives today. And so instead of skipping over the messy parts of the Torah, we let them teach us how we can leave the camp when we need to and return renewed and better than ever ready to serve and be a blessing.
You know what book you can't get out of the library now? The Plague.
Oh, yeah.
Camus. In that book, he makes it clear the plague is in us.
Right.
And everybody in that town has to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And in that book, he writes, all over the world, they have the same challenge. And we have that all over the world. And how we come back will be the next hurdle. And it will be a challenge. We got what to do. Yeah. That's good, Susie.
Well, we do have a copy of The Plague. And reading it at this time has been really interesting because especially, this week we had Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust Remembrance Day, and we'll have Yom HaZikaron, the Remembrance Day. And Camus wrote The Plague right after World War II, also asking the question about evil. How does evil, what kind of a setting, can evil come from? Can a plague come out of, right? And he chose this city in Algeria, Oran.
He didn't like that city.
Because, he thought it was kind of corrupt.
Overly industrialized.
Capitalistic.
Heartless.
Mm-hmm. And so it was...
soulless place.
It was plagued. And evil came out of it. So, but the new moon is always a time of beginning. The new moon, so make a blessing for the new moon of ER.
You have this, ER, you know what ER stands for? Aleph Yud Yud Resh, Ani Hashem Rofecha. From Exodus, Ani, Aleph Yud Yud, name of God, Rofecha, your healer. I am God, your healer.
That's good. That's good.
So
doesn't always heal the body.
Moon, we say Shalom Aleichem. So I should sing another verse of that.
Okay. So watch for the new moon. I'm not sure we'll see it because it got a little cloudy. I'm looking out the windows, but she's there. Just that beautiful crescent in the sky. And again, for our Muslim family, it is the beginning of Ramadan, this very holy time of fasting and prayer. And I think it's a good time. I'm asking my Muslim friends to pray, thanking them for their devotion at this time, because we certainly need.
Bless us with peace. Barhuni, bless us into peace, toward peace. O you messengers of peace, messengers of the pure giving. Barhuni l'shalom, Malachia Salom, Malachi Elyo, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let us leave toward peace, go toward peace. Tzitachem l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
As the new moon approaches, we call to mind the gifts of this past month, Nisan, with Passover and beginning of the Omer, and we give thanks for her. And now, as we enter into this new moon of Iyar, we pray that we are able to weave new threads into the tapestry of our tradition as we give ourselves time to let go of the past and embrace what is yet to come, and make sure we leave room for it. So we'll offer a Misha Berach, a healing prayer. I saw that Deb Montford. It's wonderful seeing your messages come up. Just all the people saying Shabbat Shalom. The messages are beautiful. Really appreciate sharing this time with you. And I know that Deb Montford's been not feeling too well, so I keep her in our Misha Berach and our healing prayers. I don't have the lists this week, so just know that we are praying for all the people. Catherine, who's in New York, and Steve Englehart's mom, who was taken to the hospital, and just all the people that we know that are struggling with the virus, but also people who have other diseases that they are struggling with. Please hold them in your hearts as we offer this. And Lois Lumstein, yes, we will add your mom, Lois. Thank you. And and for Diane Levine and her family, because they had the funeral for her mother, Betty, beautiful Betty, today. Thank you, Susan, for reminding us. And Shirley Sewell, I know, and just all the people that I know are. Oh, Gil Nussbaum. Oh, prayers for Gil and strength for Linda. And Carl Weiss continue to get better. And one day we'll be there on Friday night and have that beautiful second row, filled again. All the good people that come. So think about the people that you hold in your hearts as we offer this Misha Berach.
Refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, for the healing of the spirit, the healing of the body, for those we know, for those we don't know. On my right, the angel Michael. On my left, the angel Gabriel. In front of me, the angel Uriel. Behind me, the angel Raphael. Above my head, above my head, above my head, Shekhinah Del. Michael, who's like God. Gabriel, God is my strength. Uriel, God is my light. Raphael, God is my healer. Above my head, above my head, above my head, above my head, Shekhinah Del. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim, blessed are you, great healer. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, God. Help us to heal the sick. And we'll come to the Kaddish. And again, I don't have my list. I know that we're remembering Betty Gershman, If anybody has any names that they want to send us in the messages, I certainly pray that Betty's memory is a blessing for her family. I think she was almost 96. A long life. And I think about all the people who died this past year, and certainly those who we've lost through this virus. I went to the cemetery today, and I learned something new about the cemetery where our daughter's grave is. You know, when I traveled through India, and I would say I was from St. Louis, many of the monks, let's say Sandy Jaffe too, for sure, and Howard Canefield. Oh, thanks for remembering. Both of those wonderful fathers. When I say I was from St. Louis, many of the monks would say, the confluence of the great rivers, the Missouri and the Mississippi. They said that is a very holy thing. That's why St. Louis is a holy place. I said, he didn't know. But then they would sometimes they would also say, but you know, it's stuck. You have to do something about it being stuck. And I see, I'll say the names as I see them. Debbie Siegel of blessed memory, Alan Woolman, Steve's cousin, and Gloria Sirota. So I went to the cemetery today, and there were some people there doing some work, and they told me that the Benamona Cemetery is at the confluence of two rivers, the River de Pere and a river that the man didn't know the name of, but was a river nonetheless right there. And I think Adina would have loved that she was at this. Our cemetery now is at the confluence of these two rivers. I guess I think about it because I think about these healing prayers, and I know that sometimes they don't work for the body, but I do hope that we continue to offer them, because you have to know that you did everything you could. And also, they do bring healing to the spirit. So for the 50,000 COVID-19 victims, for Sal Goldberg, and for all of those we've named. You see the names coming up. We know that each one is a whole world. And so I'd also like to, because it was Yom HaShoah, this is our CRC Yom HaShoah candlestick. It came from the Warsaw Ghetto. And the story is, actually came from Larry Zarin. Right before his son's bar mitzvah, he found himself in Warsaw. And he wanted something to make the bar mitzvah meaningful. So he went into a little shop, and he told the man the story, and the man said, I have just the thing for you. And he went and he got his candlestick, and he said, I only have one. But I can tell you that the story is that at the end of the Warsaw Ghetto, it was a Friday night, it was Shabbos, and this family had lit the Shabbos candles. And just then the SS came in and started shooting. And this candlestick actually has a bullet hole that goes from inside right out. I don't know if you can see it, but the bullet hole is right here. And each year the St. Louis Jewish community uses this candlestick and lights a candle in it for Yom HaShoah. And they weren't able to do it this year, so we did it at our ceremony on Tuesday night. And, as we remember all of those whose memory continues to be a blessing from the Shoah and the many genocides. There have been 89 genocides since 1945. 55 million people have died in genocides since the genocide of the Jewish people. So for all of those, and for all of those that we hold in our hearts, let's say the words that we have said for so many generations, the words of the Kaddish that praise and celebrate this gift, this precious gift of life. So let us say together, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, V'chayachon uvyomachon uv'chayedachol be Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitoleh v'yitolal shmei d'kudasha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom Rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav uya aseh shalom aleinu v'al.
Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen.
So let's make a kiddush before we leave each other with a blessing. If you have a little grape juice or a little wine, join us. Let's make a kiddush. Let's leave each other on a note of joy, believing that the good in us will win. I studied a text with some Christian and Jewish women this morning, and the text was all about how there is an illusion of scarcity. The truth is, if we figure out this new way of living together after we come out of this separation and we find this new way, we'll see there is enough for everyone with an overflowing cup.
Amen. Baruch atah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafel.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kodesho v'yahava v'ratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit kilu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכהנים ושבת קודשך, ויהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. Amen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
So put your arms around each other if you have each other. Put your arms around yourself if you have yourself. Give yourself a blessing and share it with a smile, with safe social distancing, with all the people whose lives you touch. So let's say, ready? Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you safe during this time. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the light shine through us and help us be wise and not open our states too soon. For sure. Good. Shalom, and may all that is good and high and holy bless us with shalom, with peace. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And thank you for sharing this Shabbat with us. Rabbis Karen and oh, wait a minute, we have to do one more thing. We got to count the Omer. We got to count the Omer.
Today is the
This was Tuesday,
16th day of the Omer. Is that right?
13, 14, 13 was Tuesday. Friday. Yeah, 16. That's right.
I said that today is the 16th day. We're counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer, on the counting of the Omer. We're counting each day so that each day counts. We're counting each day so that each day counts. We're trying to make each day count. What day is today? It's the 16th day of the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shekitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer, counting of the Omer. May it come to you for good. May you deepen yourself in every energy of every day, because every day has a different energy. What day is it today? Oh, today is unday. No, it's not unday, it's the 16th day of the Omer. Counting the energies, moving into the week of the energy is Tiferet, the energy is beauty. This week given over to beauty. If you align yourself with the intention to go into each day with the notion of beauty, you align yourself with God's blessed will. So said the Holy Rabbi Nachman. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Just as we entered into Shabbat together, we invite you to join us again as we pray the Havdalah prayers and let go of Shabbat.